Si Mustafa, hello. I hope you're doing well. Natalie Leblanc, good evening. I hope you're doing well too. The first people to arrive always. So Umayma Hazi, hello. Umayma Ishu Haibi, good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. Reem Al-Uthmani and Huda Prawi, good evening. Hello. Huda, Salma, hello. Hello everyone. Umayma, Zakaria, Tahiri, hello. Hassan Bagbag, hello. I hope everyone is doing well here. Asma Tuhan, salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Asma, welcome. Everyone here is welcome. 12 people, now it's 18 people. Lan Ustad Atimad, good evening. Glad that you are with us too. Hiba, hello. Thank you very much, Hiba. Thank you. Barahu, good evening. Now you are 18, and I would love to see the link to this live shared with the people you think you think can be interested in this live. Hello, Ustad Zineb, ahlan wa sahlan. I hope you're doing well too. I hope everyone, the family members are doing well. The kids, everyone. Thank you. Well, I will probably be away for a couple of minutes. I'll try to share this. You are 18, but I have only 3 likes. No, you are 19, only 3 likes. So why is that? So yeah, 4 likes now. So try to increase this, please, and try to share as a way of helping helping us sustain this effort. So let me share this in the different groups I have here. Would you kindly do the same? Well, so I'll be away for a couple of minutes. I'll come back to you, ladies and gentlemen. Also on LinkedIn. Voilà. Well, 32 are watching us. Okay, Umayma Ishaibi, may I ask which book is the best if we want to deeply learn grammar after S3 to learn more about grammar? Umayma Ishaibi, this is a very relevant, very accurate, and very intelligent question on your part. Why? Because there are always aspects of grammar that we have not managed to fully master at the level of S1, S2, S3, and even at the level of the licence after the BA, which means that there should be some remedial work that students, and especially the ones who would like, their future to go smooth, to run smooth. Future with English, of course. No problems at the level of the master's, test, placement test, or entrance exam. Sorry, and no problems when they are asked to produce a piece of writing, and this is really interesting. There are 3 books that I suggest. 3 books. Some of them may be available on the internet. Okay, so book number 1 is a practical English grammar with the workbooks. I think there are 2 workbooks that go with it, with the key, with the solutions, which means that you can do some autonomous work. And the best way of learning grammar is to do autonomous work. If you have the key, it means that the book will try to provide you with explanations of the different ways of using a given structure and the context in which it is used, and it will give you exercises based on the explanations you have been given. Then there are longer exercises called review exercises that you have to do on your own, of course, but you can check by consulting the key at the end of those books, of those workbooks. So I highly recommend a practical English grammar. That's number 1. Then there is another one called Living English Structure by someone called Stannard Allen. Living English Structure, Stannard Allen, again with exercises and with a key. And there is the third one by McKinsey called Modern English Practice. This is just wonderful. This is more, it presents more advanced stuff if you really want your grammar, the use of grammar to be somehow sophisticated and to apply it in your in your writing, and you want to produce good error-free English. Then you can consult the latter. That is to say, the one by McKinsey called Modern English Practice. So if I were to order the importance of these books, I would go for someone who has who still needs to brush up on his or her grammar. Then a practical English grammar is a very good book to begin to start with, and then this is followed with Stannard Allen's Living English Structure, and then the last one, and the one that I believe is most advanced, because the one in McKinsey's book Modern English Practice, you are given exercises depending on the level. So elementary, you have grammar for exercises for elementary, which of course you need to work out without any mistake. And there are intermediate, and then intermediate exercises, or exercises for intermediate levels, and exercises for advanced levels. Umayma Ishuaibi, please start with this. And needless to reiterate my old advice that has not expired, and I don't think it will expire any soon, that the best method for learning about grammar, for mastering the grammar of a given language, is to do exercises. And after this, you do exercises. And after you are done with this, do exercises. That's the key. That's the key. Do exercises and redo them after a period of time, a short period of time. For example, you do exercises 1 to 10, and then maybe after 1 week, you come back to these exercises, and you will see the wonders, okay, in learning grammar. This is a very good method, and these are very good books to start with. Si Abdullah Amin, Salam Professor, so good to see you. Thank you very much, Si Abdullah. I'm very happy you are with us here. Ibtisam Khasha, good evening. Salma Boulahfa, I shared it to some study groups. Thank you very much, Salma. Thank you. Hello, Sada Samia. Hope you're doing well. Si Mustafa Murshid is greeting Samia. Shihab Mustafa, hello. I hope you are doing well. Thank you, Si Mustafa. The pleasure is all mine. Okay, Abdullah is greeting Umayma, and the comprehensive grammar of the English languages by that too, yes. A comprehensive grammar is a very famous reference too. Thank you, Abdullah, for this suggestion. Yes. Okay. See Mustafa Murshid. Hi, my friend Mustafa. Okay, very good. He's greeting his friend. Si Muhammad Zaraq, hello. Shihab Mustafa, okay. Shimi Rain, good evening. This is a new weird name, but you are welcome anyway. Chernobyl, hello. Okay. Hello again. Okay. Grammar in use by Murphy. Yes. Booknifi. Hello, Si Mohammed Booknifi. For grammar books, no matter what grammar book you use, actually. So I gave you those books because I used them. That's all. You see, but they are very efficient, effective books. I mean, they are very effective in the sense that they give you the desired results. Okay, so please do this, and whatever book that you use, make sure that you do the exercises. You do them again, do them again. You should never have enough of these exercises. Discussing with friends, and yeah, this is good. You know, the other thing is that is the advice that you can formulate. Formulate. I'm sorry because there was a message where there's the word formulate. See, sorry. So you can have groups of 2 or 3. The smaller, the better. To tell you the truth, 2 is company, 3 is a crowd. So if you are 2 people, or 3, let's say, or 3, but not more than that. Agree that when you use English and you happen to make a mistake, the other one has to correct it for you. You will be developing the monitoring skills in a very remarkable way. So all in all, just to conclude this, I think the question asked by Umayma is one that is sincere and that is intelligent, because she predicts that there will probably in her future journey stations along this academic journey, she might be put in situations where she needs to call on her grammar skills. So this is very interesting. Okay, nice. All right. Do we have other questions before we move on to the main point of today? It's the fact of revising a few doing a few exercises and revising a few concepts in the field of syntax. Okay, so I am waiting for more questions. Well, if the students believe that they should not waste their time, which I totally understand because the exams are drawing near, we will probably leave questions. So if there is anyone here who has questions to ask about a field outside of syntax, then I would suggest that you leave them until the end, because our friends here are under pressure, perhaps, because they have other things to deal with, so they will not just wait until after we are done with our discussions to correct their grammar points, these grammar exercises. So let's start with the first exercise, or the first sorry. So let's start with the first one, please. Okay. Yalla. You choose one, please, and let me know which one do you think will be the first to start with. Okay, maybe I can impose this choice. So go back, please, to the exercises I have shared on the Facebook page, and suggest one that you would like us to start with, and then we can discuss that with no problem. Today I have 45 people here, and the ones who are listening to me now, who can hear me, so after the exams, of course, try to partake of these discussions, because they are interesting anyway. We have people from different levels. We have doctoral students here, we have professors here. So if you are keen on academia, then this is a place where you will learn a lot, and not from me, but from our discussion, from you see. So it's a good idea to keep visiting this page, and why not you yourselves can contribute. You may be curious when it comes to certain points. You may have questions to ask. So it's a good habit. In my times, I always say I wish I had a chance to be involved in with live sessions and with these groups of intellectuals here. Issuing from different fields, different areas of interest. So I would have improved my knowledge and my skills far better. At that time, I remember let me tell you, in my first S1, S2, I remember first year. It was not S1, S2, it was first year, second year, third year, because we had 4 years. So what corresponds to your S1 and S2, I remember I could barely find someone to talk to from a level higher than mine. For example, I used to know people, who study in third year, fourth year, the third cycle, but all that they were saying was hi from a distance, and then they go. When you ask them, I don't know, that was something I lived. We did not have ways of sharing and asking questions the way you have them now. All right. Nice. So grammar in US. So I think there is no question here. We can start by the one that contains write a short paragraph on competence and performance. Yes. Reem El Uthmani says, can we do a little review of syntax? Syntax is a very vast area. So what review do you think we are going to talk about? In the best review probably is will take the form of questions from you. You see, and notice that I am here doing, dealing with syntax in general terms. I'm not targeting, because we have people here from different universities, from different professors, and so I'd rather when we do the exercises, we can review. That's fine, and I can review things in general, but that will depend on questions. Okay, that will depend on your questions. So if you have any question, please. Because so if you have questions, just ask them here. You say, or small reminders before answering each question. Yes, we can do that. Small reminders. Yes, we need on. Two on statistics, yeah, that will be probably towards the end of the exam, because we, probably the students are making requests for live sessions in matters concerning phonology, syntax, and I was also thinking of S3, because I have received a couple of requests, but I have not received exercises or previous exams so that I can correct them. So this is a call for S3 students to message me. I also intend to have a live session for S1. I couldn't reply because the group called Dirasat al-Injlizia, I think not Dirasat al-Injlizia, I know there was a group for teaching for English students. I placed a comment, but the comment was not accepted. Maybe because I have a page, it's not by using my name. So because there were students who were asking about the possibility of revising they were asking whether there is someone to help us, answer, who would answer some of our questions in spoken English. So if you know anyone who would send me a request of this regard, I can reserve, one session at least, where we can talk about phonetics and stress rules and the ED and all that stuff. All right. Nice. Okay, so Mustafa, so that's going to be after, inshallah, the exams. I'm intending to do that, and I also promised my master students to have some sort of review on that. Things related to tree diagram, please. Yeah, the tree diagram. Okay, let's start with that, please. Let's start with that. All right. Hi there. Thanks for sharing, Professor. Thank you very much. Okay. So the tree diagram. Questions related to diagrams and grammaticality. No, one at a time. Is it tree diagrams or is it grammaticality? Okay. So let's just start with the tree diagram. Notice that there are different approaches to doing syntax, and the approach that we have been adopting is X-bar theory. So our sentences have to be represented by means of X-bar theory. X-bar theory, one of the advantages of X-bar theory is that it helps map, underlying representation or deep structure to surface structure. In the tree diagram that follows the X-bar, way, we are able to see deep structure and surface structure, especially the tree diagrams that involve movements. Okay, now a typical X-bar representation of phrases and clauses. By the way, as you will know in your course, clauses are, at the end of the day, considered phrases. I repeat, in X-bar theory, there is no notion as sentence. There is no notion as clause. Technically, no, but in reality, yes. Okay, to explain, we can use the term clause or sentence, etc. But in X-bar theory, everything boils down to the status of a phrase. So if you have a noun phrase, it's a phrase. If you have an adjective phrase, it's a phrase. An adverb phrase, it's a phrase. If you have a clause, it's also a phrase. I think you know this now. It's one of the powerful points in X-bar theory. So X-bar theory reduces clauses and phrases to one uniform representation, to one skeleton, in other words. What is this skeleton? So whether you have a clause or a phrase, you have to have this X double bar, which is also one way of saying XP. So if you have N double bar or NP, V double bar, VP, etc. Yeah, everything is a phrase, Mustafa. Everything is a phrase, yes. So here, the backbone, you know what backbone is? La colonne vertébrale, okay? So we have X bar. We may have a specifier, even if we're talking about other phrases. So the specifier is no longer a property of the noun phrase only. A specifier is a feature or is an element. Let me call it an element that we have for every single phrase. It just so happens that some phrases, they are like that by nature. They are lacking in the specifier. Okay, but here sometimes it's absent, sometimes it's present, sometimes it has a weird behavior. For example, the CP specifier exists only to receive moved WH phrases. But what you need to bear in mind, just as a way of evaluating your own tree diagram, if you want to see whether your tree diagram is correct or incorrect, is the right way or not the right way, then you have to have something like this. Okay. So the branches have to be okay. So you have X bar, X double bar here, double bar, please. Notice the two bars here. And then you have X bar. We have provided enough arguments for the existence of this component of X bar. There is empirical evidence to show that between the phrase level or the double bar level, they are synonyms, the phrase level or the double bar level, and the X0 level, which is the head level, there is a third element, which is the bar level. I repeat. We traditionally, when we used to refer to the noun phrase, think of grammar 3, for example. You have a noun phrase, and then you have the noun. You have the phrase, and then you have the head. Now, what has changed in X-bar theory? One thing. It's the addition of an intermediate element. Yes, everything is in your hands says intermediate level. That's true. It is this intermediate level referred to as what? As the bar level. So traditionally, we have N double bar with the NP and then the head. Now we have NP with the N double bar, then N bar, then N0, which is the head. So this is because it's a fundamental part of the phrase, it has to be there. It has to be there, under all circumstances. So what is X bar actually? What is X bar? X bar as a component, I'm not talking about X bar theory, no, X bar as a component of the phrase, it groups or it brings together the head and its complements. I repeat, in a phrase, of whatever nature it might be, whenever you find a head and next to it its complement, then the two are lumped under the category of X0. Of X bar. I repeat. The head and its complement, like wash the dishes. Wash is the verb, the head, and the dishes is its complement. So wash the dishes is a V bar. So here you have X bar. It can be N bar, it can be V bar. Look, it consists of X0. X0 is the X bar way of saying the head. So whenever you have a category And this superscript 0, it means that it's the head. And of course, heads are the most important element in all these. All right. So, and then you have, let me call it complement. Complement. This complement, it can be an NP, it can be a VP, it can be a prepositional phrase, it can be an adjective phrase, it can be anything. It can be anything. It can be also a clause. For example, I think that you are nice. I think is the head of the VP, that you are nice. So I am writing here the word complement. It's not a category, it's just one of these. But what is essential is that it has to occur immediately after X0. Yes, yes. Untired English teacher. That's true. That's true. Okay, good. So I hope you have got this. So conclusion for this little part. If you would like to see if your tree diagram has the core of a tree diagram, I mean, there might be a mistake, but the mistake is not in the core part. So what you need to do is see if you have this. All X-bar theory or all tree diagrams assuming an X-bar theoretical approach to representing sentences has to have this shape. Look at my hand. Look, double bar, bar, zero, double bar, bar, zero, double bar, bar, zero. So you have double bar, bar, zero. Always, always. You see? Now, sometimes it just happens that that sometimes you have a prepositional phrase. Let's just bring the famous examples that we cover in the class, okay, in the classroom. Just imagine I have an adjunct. You know what an adjunct is? An adjunct. Let's take the wait a minute. What are the categories that can have adjuncts? Answer: all categories can potentially theoretically have adjuncts. So an adjunct is not a specificity of the NP or the VP or the CP or whatever. No. As long as you have something that can be written in the form of an X double bar, phrases and clauses, these potentially have complements. So we can find complements in them, but we can also find adjuncts. And this brings us to a discussion of the major difference between a complement and an adjunct. And based on my remark here, I repeat this, please. Based on my remark here, if you have other X bars here at the level, because for adjunct, you know that you create a copy of the V bar. You ignore them and you draw this shape for the real X bar. This is the original X bar. It's not a copy. How do I know that it's not a copy? Because I don't have an adjunct. Okay. So Nathalie Leblanc says an adjunct is a supplementary rather than an essential part. Absolutely. When I say the book of history on the table, which element can I sacrifice if I am forced to sacrifice an element here? Is it of history or on the table? Of history is part of the book. It's as if the book is not enough. You have to complete. That's why we call it complement. It's part and parcel of the noun phrase, you know, that of the noun. The idea is incomplete if we just say the noun. Okay, so on the table, because it's an adverb of place, all adverbs, look at, ladies and gentlemen, this is a tip for you to know whether something is essential or not essential. Adverb starts with what prefix? It starts with ad. And add for adjective and for adverb. Okay, look, categories that start with ad it means that they are added. لأن add فيها حتى add, they add double they add, and adjunct is like add to something. And the word adjunct حتى هو, it starts with add, so there is no problem here. Automatically, we don't need to think about it. You find something there, is it a complement or an adjunct? هذا adjective, adjunct. هذا adverb, adjunct. So at least you have this. But of course, there are certainly complements that take other forms like the prepositional phrase, which we will see in a moment. Okay. Now, we have, so I think you know this now. We have another scenario, ladies and gentlemen. We have another scenario where you have an X double bar. What? Where you have a spec, for example, let's say spec here. And look, when you judge that something is an adjunct, like let's say a nice boy. Let's write a nice boy here. A nice boy. A nice boy. A nice boy. What's this? Okay, let's change the X by N. No. A nice boy. Is it a clause? No. Is it an adjective phrase? No. Is it a noun phrase? Yes. Because boy is the noun and it's the head. So what we do here is write N double bar. So for the nice boy. Do we have a specifier? Yes, we do. So it's a specifier or determiner. For a noun phrase, we use the det. Even if you use specifier, no problem. So it's determiner. Okay. It's a determiner. Otherwise, we refer to the specifier. There's no problem. Now, you have nice here. Tell me what it is now. Tell me. Tell me. What did I say a while ago? Whenever you have a category that starts with add, it means what? It's an adjunct. Okay? Adjunct. Very good, Eva. Yes, very good, everyone here. An adjunct. Thank you. I have an adjunct. Ladies and gentlemen, understand that in X bar theory, whenever an element is judged to be an adjunct, we decide, for example, that this element, nice, is an adjunct. What you should do when writing the tree diagram is what? Is to create a copy of the N bar. Normally, a while ago, I said that we have, for example, N double bar, I have spec, and then I have N bar, I have N0, which is the head, and the complement. Yes or no? But now I have this. This is not a complement, so I cannot write it as anywhere other than its normal place. So here, this is just to explain what we said before. So N bar, double bar, N bar, N0. Now I am in a situation where I don't have a complement, I have an adjunct. Okay? I have an adjunct here. What should I do? I have to create a copy. Hiya. This is just a copy. I leave room for it. I'll come back to it later so that I will not be confused, and I continue. This is the original N bar. Do you understand? Before, we had this N double bar, N bar, N0. Why? Because here, there is no adjunct. Okay? There is no adjunct. So I don't have this is the original. Here, no, because I have an adjunct, this is the original, and this is a copy, كنخرج منها الادجunct. Okay? So the adjunct is based on a copy that we create. So it branches from a copy. It's always from a copy. If you have an adjunct and you don't create a copy, it means it's wrong. And if you create a copy but you don't have an adjunct, it means it's wrong. So copies, adjuncts, copies. Whether you are talking about an adjunct in a noun phrase, in a verb phrase, in a clause, whatever. Okay, nice. So in this case, how can I evaluate my tree diagram? It's by saying this. هذا ما نحسبوش هيبقى على برا. So I should do it this way. I have almost the same shape as the one before. That's the criterion for the evaluation. علاش؟ حيت هنا غيكون عندي n0 اللي هو الهيد. So n double bar هذا خارج ما محسوبش لأنه copy. So n double bar, n bar 0. Yes, an adjunct is as the sister of x bar, as you said, and a complement is a sister node of a C0. All right, nice. So I hope I have made things clear here. So let me give you an exercise now. Okay. Okay, okay, let's write the examples we did in class because it's okay. So let's say the student, the famous of physics with long hair. So let's study this together, and then I will clean this out and write a tree diagram, and we'll write it together. It gets confusing when we have multiple adjuncts, though. No, see Ayub. So see Ayub, I will please Ayub ask this question again or put this remark again just to give you a phrase with multiple adjuncts, and I will let you know very easily how to do it. It's very easy. Okay, life is complicated, so we should not make it even more so. Okay. No, it's easy, Ayub. So what do we have here? The whole thing is what? Please always look at the whole thing first. Determine what there is, because some students on the day of the exam, what do? On the day of the exam, students, because these students are familiar with the CPs and with the phrase, the clauses. On the day of the exam, they are given a long noun phrase and they start C double bar, C bar. No. So you have the first thing, I'm just giving you this warning because you will lose time. So there is no point in drawing a tree diagram in the form of a CP while what you have only is a long NP. So you have to pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. So what do I have here? Hiba and Nathalie have responded that we have N double bar or NP, noun phrase here, noun phrase. Some friends would call it a determiner phrase, a DP. You see, if in your class with your professor you have dealt with the DP, follow what your professor told you. If you have been dealing with it as an NP, follow what your professor told you, because both are correct. Okay. Yeah, Ibtisam, I'll come back to this. Please, if you ask a question that I don't answer now, make sure that I did not do it on purpose because I have to finish this. And then we will come back to answers to those questions, okay? So let's come to this point. So here we have N double bar. This is N double bar. What is the most important element here? That is to say, where is the head? The head is student. How? Okay, student. This is a determiner. Yes, very nice. Of physics is a complement of student. It's a complement because we are talking about not just any student, but the student of physics. So when you have a noun phrase and then you have of is always this complement. Okay? So here, of physics is a complement. Yes or no? Now, with long hair, which translates as who has long hair, that's an adjunct. So relative clauses and their paraphrases are always adjuncts. So with long hair, it means who has long hair. All right. So this is an adjunct. With long hair is an adjunct, and we will provide you with arguments why this is an adjunct. There are two. Look at I have stained my fingers. Never mind. So in syntax, a distinction is often made, okay, between a complement and an adjunct. And there are basically two arguments to prove whether something is a complement or an adjunct. Universally, complements are closer to the head than is the adjunct. هذا رقم واحد. Which means if I have two elements and I wonder which one is a complement and which one is an adjunct, all I need to do is to switch them, to swap positions. For example, can I say a student with long hair of physics? لا. Now, the argument is that since with long hair cannot come before of physics, with long hair is an adjunct because universally adjuncts, if you have a complement and an adjunct, then it is the complement that should be first, that should come near the head. Okay? The other argument is the multiplicity of these elements. While an adjunct can be multiple, we can have multiple adjuncts, 2, 3, 4, it depends. For complements, we have just one. Okay, sometimes you have two for some verbs, but that's a different treatment of the verb, or the verb phrase. So generally you have just one. The proof. كيفاش غتكتبوا في الباراجراف اللي تعطى لكم باراجراف على هذا complement and adjunct. The proof is that you cannot say the student of physics of history because the complement rule is not recursive, because the complements do not replicate. Can we have an NP with multiple adjuncts? Yes. For example, the intelligent student of physics with long hair in that classroom. In that classroom means who is in that classroom. As you can see, we have produced 3 adjuncts, no problem. Okay, but we cannot produce, as you have said, as you have noticed, we have produced 2 complements and we noticed that it did not work. A student of physics of history, no. A student of physics of mathematics, no. Why? Because universally, every head has to have one element that functions its complement. Of course, there are some exceptions, but they are given a different treatment in X-bar theory. Is that okay, ladies and gentlemen? So these are 2 arguments that show the distinction between elements that are complements and elements that are adjuncts. Okay, good. Now, let's make life more complicated and de-complicated if the verb exists, okay? Let's add solve to injury. Let's add nice and then in the classroom. Nice and in the classroom. So, write it so that lest I should forget. Okay, so you have nice here and then in the classroom. So the nice student of physics with long hair in the classroom. Is that okay? Okay, nice. Let me clean this. let me go back to the gentleman whose name I forgot, who asked me. Yes, see, Ayub L. Ayub L says that it's confusing, and we have an example here with 3 adjuncts and 1 complement, and I will show you that life is easy and everything is fine, and all that you need to do is just some little concentration on the tree diagram. So the nice student of physics with long hair in the classroom, okay? So I have an N double bar here. Look at this. N double bar. I have a determiner here or a specifier, the student, okay? The. If you can't see the board, I can read right. N double bar ما بينش مزيان. Okay. So I have to make the bars clear. N double bar, determiner, the. Okay. Now I have to, so I read. Could you please start with this tree diagram? We have read the history book that you have recently recommended to us. خلينا صاحبي. So that's Nuni Nunus. So let me finish this and I'll come back to it. I have no problem doing the 2. I'm sorry. So I cannot, stop this. Just I'll come back to this in a moment. No problem. Okay. I'm sorry, Nunus. I know. Nuni Nunus. Okay. You are very creative when it comes to choosing your names. Okay. So let's just do this and then come back to Nuni, the sentence by Nuni Nunus. Okay. So. Okay. So the nice student of physics with long hair in that classroom or in the classroom. Okay. So look, Ayub, you are the one who asked the question. I have the, and then I have nice. Nice is what? Is it an adjunct or is it a complement? It's an adjunct. علاش? Because it's an adjective. أنت بجوج بهم كيبداو بأدج. So adjective, adjunct, no problem. Okay. واش غندير دابا هنايا؟ I create a copy for it. ها هي. هذه غير copy. علاش? Because I have an adjunct. Is it to the left or to the right? No, it's to the left. ها هي. Sorry. ها هي. أنا غنرجع ليها. I'll come back to it. Better. Do it this way. I come back to it. This is reserved for nice. I come back to it. Okay. Do I have another adjunct? دائما كنبداو بالadjuncts first. So I have another one which is with long hair. With long hair. ها هي. This is for with long hair. Okay. So nice. So yeah, I have my N bar here. No. Nice. So I have with long hair, and I have another one for in the classroom. And now I come back to my real N bar. نعاودو. I think that some people cannot digest it. Let me repeat this. This is a very good technique, by the way, to solve the problem with the representation of complements and adjuncts. شوف. When you read a chunk of language, be it a phrase or whatever, when you reach the point where you want to represent the adjunct, try not to do it on the spot. Come back to it. Just create a copy and leave a space to it. It's like a plan that you are doing. I think this is going to work. Look again at this. I'll repeat this on purpose. Look. I have a nice, and then you have student of physics with long hair in the classroom. 3 adjuncts. So I have so first adjunct is nice. How? This is for nice. Do I have another adjunct? And this student of physics, and he with long hair. This is for long hair. Do I have a third adjunct in the classroom? Yes, هيا in the classroom. So this is in the classroom, or with long hair, and this is in the classroom because we will not have crossing the branches. And now I come to my real n bar. دونك في هذاك الشيب اللي هضرنا عليها قبل باللي اكس بار خصها تكون بهذا الشكل هذا x0 complement. هذه خاليه من الكوليسترول. هذه خاليه من الادجنكتس. داكشي علاش غير كندورو هكا او ça marche. مي هنا لا. هنا il faut justement exclure هادو اللي ما محسوبينش حيت هادو غير دي كوبي. لوريجينال هي هذه. You see اللي فيها n0 والكومبليمون. دونك غادي نجبد من هنا و n بار عاد كنجي ل n0 اللي غنكتب هنايا. ها هي دابا عندي n0 اللي هي student. صافي this is student. And then I have of physics here, which is what? A prepositional phrase. So you have p bar, p0, and then you have n double bar. Physics, you know how to do it. The point is to show to you how to deal with multiple adjuncts. So I come back to nice here. Adjective double bar, adjective bar, adjective 0. Nice. صافي وغنجي هنايا عاوتاني with long hair اللي هي p double bar, p bar, p0 with, and then you have elements inside long hair. Here we will not represent it, we don't have space. What is important is to show you these key elements, and then in the classroom will be prepositional phrases. It's the same thing as this. So prepositional phrase, you know the detail, you need to provide the detail on the day of the exam. Ayub says, looks easy that way. Indeed, sir. So you follow what your professor tells you. Okay, so yes, this is a message for the students who may get lost, because on the day of the exam we are often lost because probably the tree diagram is long. And, you know, hikmah, the wisdom there is to divide the task into little manageable chunks, step by step, one by one. That's all. Take a sentence, read it and understand it, that's for sure, and try to determine what you have there. Is it a CP or is it an NP or a VP? Because, you know, so different exercises have different, you know, chunks, different categories. So it's a good idea to see what you have there, and you write the maximal projection and see whether you have. This is on the day of the exam, you know, for everyone watching me across the country. You see, on the day of the exam, look at the category that you have. Look at whether you have complements or adjuncts, because they are likely to confuse you. هذا رقم 2. رقم 3, see if you have movements there. See if you have movements. يا إما I to C movement, N P in raising إلا عندي seem. غير تشوفوا seem ولا be likely ولا ذاك appear, it means that you have a raising predicate. إلا شفتوا decide to, wants to, tries to, and you have a pro, because we don't have a way of saying that it's a raising. حيت ما فيهمش, the pleonastic pronoun will not apply. Natalie says you are really gifted. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, nice. Could you clarify movement, please? Yes, we will see. We will see. You know, Rim, we talked about movements time and again. There are videos that you can visit. I think there's one on Facebook and on this platform. There are so many, you know, videos that talked about. I talked about I to C movement. I talked about NP movement in raising constructions. I talked about NP movement in passive constructions. I also talked about NWH. No, I've not talked about that. Okay, so fine. Is it incorrect if we start with the C double bar? لا شكون قال لكم incorrect? No. هدى. Let me. So ريم عافاك ريم العثماني فكرني with the things that you would like me to repeat. Huda, this is an urgent question somehow. No, I did not say that we should not start with C double bar. Huda, if your professor on the day of the exam, I don't know where you study, which university, but if the professor says, for example, if the professor wants you to represent a sentence like for example, the man, you see, the man you were talking to yesterday in the classroom is my, oh no, just the man you were talking about, sorry, let me repeat that. The man you were talking to yesterday in the classroom, شنو هذه؟ Is it a CP؟ لا ماشي CP. واش الداخل ديالها كاينه CP؟ كاينه CP، ولكن هادشي كلشي سي با اون CP. It's what? It's an NP. علاش؟ Because you can replace the whole thing by him. I like him. I respect him. Him refers to what? It refers to the man you were talking to in the classroom yesterday at 9 o'clock. Okay, Huda, thank you. Nice. So, okay, one by one. Yet, as our dear, people from the south would say, yet. Okay, one by one, please. So we are answering the question, the very important question, as to what we should start with. My friend, this will depend on what you have there. إلا عندي an NP وهي long, as long as it's an NP, it's an NP. So you start with N double bar, no matter what you have inside it. How do I know it's NP? إلا كانت جملة مفيدة, une phrase, the person I saw with you yesterday when I was, etc., is my best friend. شنو عندي هنايا؟ I have a subject, I have a predicate. I have an NP which is very complex, which is very complicated, which involves a lot of stuff. And I have a VP, is my friend, which is very simple. So don't worry. CP, إلا كانت sentence. CP, إلا كانت clause. إلا كانت clause, it's a CP. إلا كانت NP وهي long, right, it's still an NP. ما نحسبوش بالعدد ديال, we don't count in terms of number of elements that we have. It doesn't mean that a chunk of language is long, it is a CP. No. Sometimes you have an NP which is longer than a CP. So what counts is what you have there. Okay? So I hope I made it clear here. Have I missed out on? So I think this is clear for the moment. Let me go back to answers to your question here. Could you please start with this diagram? We have read the history book that you have recently recommended to us. Wacha, Nuni, Nunus, and the friends here. In this sentence, there is a movement that we did not cover this semester. It's NP WH movement in relative clauses. But I can still do it for you. So yeah, because we are doing syntax, some friends maybe at other universities probably have covered this. Okay, so we have read the history book that you have recently recommended to us. I can do it without any problem in this regard. So let me do it. But for this type of movement that you have, okay. All right. So let me copy that, please. Professor, could you please? We have read the history book that you have recently recommended to us. It should look like this. So it's good to have the table like this. So I am like an artist here. Okay. So could you please start with this? We have read the history book. So I should have something like C double bar. علاش بديت بالسي دبل بار هنايا؟ بلاتي غتشوفوا علاش بديت C double bar? Why have I started with C double bar? Because I have a sentence here. جملة مفيدة هنايا. اللي هي we كاين we is the NP and the rest is the VP which happens to be long. So the total is a clause. Sorry, it's a sentence. So it's a C complementizer phrase. Okay, so you have a spec here which is empty. تنسى لي هذا من بعد نقلب لكم طابلو باش تشوفوا مزيان. Yes, and then I have a C bar here. C bar. Of course, you have a C0, and since we don't have a question here, do we have a question? No, we don't. So this is plus finite minus WH. Remember that the C0, that is to say the head of the complementizer phrase, is the element that comes with universally, with the feature plus or minus WH and plus or minus finite. So it is this complementizer that has a bearing on the rest of the clause. For example, it can reveal, it can select a question, a clause that is an interrogative, like when you have, in case you have inflection to complementizer movement, if it's plus WH, it means that you have a question and it will attract the complement, the info, the I0 or the T0, depending on what you have. Anyway, so let's continue. So, and then I have C0, and the complement here is an I double bar. Yes, because we have this feature plus finite automatically. What is plus finite? It's the info. It can be plus or minus finite. So C0 selects an inflectional phrase. See, when you represent a sentence, the C0 selects means the complement of C0 is I double bar. We know this and we have done it time and again. Now, the specifier, the universal specifier for an I double bar is the subject of our clause. So it's we. We is what? It's an N double bar. And then you have N bar. And then you have N0. And then you have small pronoun, because we have we. So we write we. Okay. So we have read the history book. Have is what? Have, because you have, it may be has, it may be had, etc. So this auxiliary is the element on which the features of tense and agreement are realized. So naturally, has is an auxiliary, and the natural place for auxiliaries, because they bear features, they carry features of tense and aspect and agreement, whatever. So it has to be the head of the inflectional phrase. So I write here I bar, yeah, and then I0, and then you have here. It's like when you have will, should, whatever. So these bear these features. Okay. And then we have read the history book that you have recently. Okay, read. So I have V double bar here. Okay. V double bar, you have a V bar, V0. Okay. And then you have read. And now difficult life starts, but we will make it easy. علاش? Because you have read what? What's the complement of this? The history book that you have recently recommended to us. The history book that you have recently recommended to us. All of this is a noun phrase. How do I know that it's a noun phrase? It's a noun phrase because you can say, I have read it. It here refers to what? To the history book that you have recently recommended to us. Someone might come and say, no, sir, it refers just to the history book. If this is the case, then why is this ungrammatical? If it here replaces only the history book, then logically we can say we have read it that you have recently recommended. So it here refers to the whole phrase. Is that fine? So that this is evidence enough that, okay, the history book that you have recently recommended to us is what? Is what? Is an NP, let's say. Okay, right? N double bar. Okay, read the history book. So we have it's a determiner. The history book. History here, is it a complement or is it an adjunct? What's the difference between what's the difference between nice book and history book? Because I wanted to compare with the previous example. It's better to use book here. So what's the difference between a history book and a nice book? A nice book, you have the word nice, and the nice is an adjective. Without further ado, without a second thinking, because it's an adjective, it's an adjunct. Salina. But a history book, no, a history is a noun. So we say either a history book or book of history. Because it paraphrases with a traditional classical complement, it is a complement. Do you understand? So a taxi driver is the driver of a taxi. Okay? So here, the history is a complement. Okay? Do I have an adjunct here? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. All right? Okay. So because I have an adjunct, I have to create a copy for it. دابا غنرجع للهيستوري بوك اللي هو ان بار هيستوري بوك اللي فيه ان دبل بار ان زيرو اللي هي هيستوري and then فيها ان زيرو اللي هي book. Okay, so you have here history book as you can see. So this is the original n bar. This is the copy because I have an adjunct. ديال اش هاد الادجunct؟ الادجunct ديال شنو هنايا؟ That you have recently recommended to us. Is that okay? So here, history book, this is an n bar. اللي the complement and the n0. Notice please that n0 here, the head, has a complement as a sister node. اللي هو, okay, history. Fine. Now, let me say something. We did not cover this. داكشي علاش غنديرها غير في le triangle. We will not analyze the details. We did not cover it. So just listen to me saying something about it, please. Okay? شوف. Here is a tip, my friends. Here is a tip. That which is a complementizer is different from another that which is a demonstrative, which is still different from a that which is a relative pronoun. Alors, whenever you find that, whenever you find that in a sentence, that can be substituted for which, it means that the whole thing is an adjunct. علاش? Because the whole thing is a relative clause. So all relative clauses, just in case you have this on the day of the exam, you may not analyze the internal structure of this relative clause because we did not cover it, because most people did not do it. Unless you have a professor who covered it, then you can ask me, I can handle it, I can have a session on it, or at least part of the session. See? ولكن just in case you have it on the day of the exam, you have which, whose, and whom, and that. بالحق ماشي that اللي هي I think that you are nice. I think that you are nice. that هذيك it's a complementizer. علاش؟ باش نعرفوا it's a complementizer. فاش كتكون complementizer؟ فاش ما كيمكنش نعوضها بwhich ولا بذات ولا بهو. Par exemple, quand je dis the man that I saw, هذاك that راه ماشي complementizer. علاش؟ Because I can replace it with whom I saw. You see? I assume that you are nice. That here is a complementizer. علاش? Because I cannot replace it by another relative pronoun. By a relative pronoun. Do you understand, my friends? I hope you do. So here, book هذا adjunct هذا. شوف. اكتبوا عندكم all relative clauses within an NP are adjuncts. أصلاً relative clauses كيكونوا في ال NP. All relative clauses are NP. Which you bought, that you think, who you invited, which you will read. All of these examples are typical examples of relative clauses. All relative clauses, ladies and gentlemen, are adjuncts. Okay? Are adjuncts. صافي سالينا. نعطيكم مثال. انا هذا امتحان جاني انا فاش كنت كنقرا في الكاتريام اني على ليبوك كاتريام اني في 98 99. I remember this example. What's the difference between the claim that you made and the claim that you are nice? شتي؟ The claim that you made, the claim that you're nice, that you are nice. The answer simply is that in the first sentence, the claim that you made involves what? NP movement in relative clause. It's a relative clause. خلينا من NP ماشي NP movement, WH movement. ما خلينا منها ما نهضروش على الموفمنت نهضروا على غير relative clause. The claim that you made, can it be replaced by the claim which you made? Of course. وبالتالي that you made here is a relative clause. وبالتالي it's an adjunct to to claim. It's an adjunct. C'est-à-dire claim خصها ان بار اخرى ونهبطوا منها adjunct. The claim that you are nice, no. The claim that you are nice. Which claim? The claim that you are nice. Can I say the claim which you are nice? لا. So here that is not an adjunct. That is not a relative clause. That here is a complementizer. And that you are nice is a complement to the claim. I repeat. The claim that you are nice, the claim that you made. نبدأ the claim that you made. The claim that you made. That la phrase الأولى the claim that you made. That the claim that you are nice are not the same. Because one of them is replaceable with a relative pronoun, like which, but the second one, no. I see. I like the idea that you have decided to revise syntax on time. I like the idea that you have decided. Can I say I like the idea which you have decided? لا. Here, that is a complementizer. This is a very good test for that which is a complementizer and that which is not. But in any case, you will not have. I'm just pointing to the fact that فوقاش ما لقيتو une phrase relative, a relative clause, inside an NP اعلموا ان هذاك relative clause راهي تن adjunct. هذا هو الميساج اللي بغيت نوصل لكم. وإلا لقيتو that اللي ما يمكنش نغومبلاسيوه بwhich ولا بwhom ولا another relative pronoun, it means it's a complementizer. I believe that you are nice. Can I say I believe which you are nice? لا. صافي. I like the book that you bought. Can I replace it with which? Yes, I like the book which you bought. So which you bought here is a relative clause. Relative clause is so هنا the book which you bought and which you bought كاملة راجعة it's an adjunct to the noun. احنا ما ندخلوش في تفاصيل because maybe you are pragmatic and I know you. you're looking probably for more for a revision than broadening your knowledge. Maybe broadening your knowledge can come after, inshallah. Okay, so this is just what I found, word of saying. Alors, هنايا, this is a CP بعدا. لأن عندي that you have recently, okay, the book that you have recently. شوفوا السي بي الادجنكت ديال book, الادجنكت حيت ها هي كرينا ليها الكوبي. دونك هنايا نديروا هذا الشيء هكا ونتهناو that you have recently bought. حيت الا ديطاينا هنا غنصدقوا في شي حوايج ربما ما درتوهمش. علاش؟ because we have here WH movement in relative clauses. You see? Good. So I hope I have satisfied the curiosity of Nuni Nunus, and she needs to satisfy our curiosity to reveal who she is or who he is. Okay, but never mind. I'm just joking. Okay, fine. The nice student of physics belong here in the classroom. Okay, the nice student of physics. Okay, fine. Okay. Is it incorrect if we start with C double bar? بلاتي Huda. Huda, I have answered you, Huda. As I said, it will all depend on what you have, so you have to be careful. Looks easy that way indeed, sir. Ayub, yes, thank you. Oh, so I think I'm coming back to the comments you have had occasion to make earlier. Professor, what about syntactic ambiguity? If we have a sentence with two meanings or more, should we draw more than one tree diagram? Look, Umayma, if you are asked, this is a very important question by Umayma. If your professor, for example, on the day of the exam says, draw a tree diagram for the following sentence, and maybe provide arguments or account for movement or whatever. And it just happens that that sentence can be written in two ways because of ambiguity. As long as the professor did not ask you to disambiguate or to use this ambiguity as a main argument, he does not mention it. All that you need to do is just do it once. Okay, just do it once. You don't need to. But if the question says something like two readings or two interpretations, it's one way of saying you have to disambiguate it in the tree diagram. So please follow your professor's instructions, and that will suffice. Huda, you are my professor. Okay, so I think the comments are repeated, I guess. Post live video later. So yes, Reem, I will. Yes, I will post it. It will be here anyway. Just go to the channel, وشوفوا videos or lives, and then you will find this. Okay, interesting. Can we cover examples with verb phrase as well, please? Yes, why not? We can have this right away. Verb phrase. The verb phrase, with the verb phrase, again, we have to be careful because some verb phrases can exist just as a verb phrase. For example, I exist. The verb exist in I exist. It will be a V double bar. Yes. Do I have a specifier? No, I don't. Do I have an adjunct? No, I don't. Do I have a complement? No, I don't. For the simple reason that the verb exist is an intransitive verb. Yeah. So, does this prevent me from getting rid of the V bar? لا. Even if I have just one verb, it projects into a V double bar. So I should say V double bar, V0 exist. That's one thing about the VP. Now, another example. For wash the dishes, you know that you have a wash, so V double bar, and then you have V bar because I don't have an adjunct here, so no copy is needed. So V double bar, V0 wash the dishes is an NP. Fine, good. Sometimes you have, for example, I think, I believe that the book is, I don't know, is in the library. is on the table. The book is in the table. What? Sometimes I provide examples that are nonsensical at best. Okay, so I believe that the book is on the table. So you have believe. Believe what? That the book is in the table. So the complement for this is a CP. That the book is on the table. Okay. What else do you want to know about the verb? I believe that, or for example, he drove his car fast. He drove his car fast. So he drove his car fast. So we have drove his car and then fast. What is fast here? اللي كتب لي هنا fast is an adjective. He or she will be blocked immediately. Okay. This fast here, it's an adverb. Ayub, thank you, because we don't have such a thing as fastly. We don't have it in English. It's just fast. So a fast car. Ali Ustad Hana. I'm glad that you are with us here. Is it so cold where you are? Is it snowing? Is it raining? All right. So here, you can replace this by an adverb violently, quickly. I don't know. Okay, nice. So here you have V double bar. V bar كندير بحساب الادجنكت حيت عندي هاد فاست هادي ها هي. You see. So كنخرجوا الكريديات ديالنا. عاد كنديروا الاصل ها هي V and V0 and N double bar for his car. And then you have fast, which is an adverb double bar. You know the story. Adverb bar, adverb 0, إلى آخره. All right. It's rainy and windy. Why? You need to send us some rain. said Hana. Professor Hana Mohammadi is doing very well in France, and she's a very successful teacher, very successful professor. I wish her all the best. She studied at Mohammed V University years ago, and she made her career in France. So we wish her all the best. All right. Thank you, Lahana. All right. So can we proceed, please? So I keep telling you, لكل مجتهد نصيب. Il faut avoir la base في هاد لي زاني هادو ديال لا ليسونس. الواحد يدير ما يخدمش غير على داك 10 ديالو ليسونسيال. الهدف ماشي نفرح العائله مثلا ولا هذا which is good by the way. نفرح العائله مزيان الوالدين الى اخره. ولكن il faut travailler pour le futur. The more you invest in these 3 years, the more likely you will succeed in your future. Okay, so work on your grammar, improve your language, improve your skills, participate in debates, in discussions. Things will be fine for you. I think I forgot an important question by Siri Alawi, je pense. Can you please, sir, draw a diagram for the sentence? It is likely for him to leave the town tomorrow, and tell us how many movements we have in it. It is likely for him. Okay, it is likely for him to leave the town tomorrow. For him to leave the town. Okay, very good, very good. Okay. Let me do it. It is likely for him to leave the town tomorrow. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. It is so. Let's do some analysis. You have a sentence by Ya'lawi Yusuf. Just maybe the third comment from the last, I guess. Okay. This is a very interesting case that we can discuss together. Okay. But this deserves a sip of coffee. It is likely for him, yes. So let's, I hope you have found it. Let me read it out. It is likely for him to leave the town tomorrow. Okay, so let's do it. Is it an NP, a VP? Is it a CP? Yeah, as long as. Thank you, Hiba, for your explanation. What did Hiba explain? I'm sorry, have I missed something? Because okay, thank you, thank you, Hiba, thank you for the explanation. I think there was an exchange between Hiba and Picasso. Thank you very much. You know, yeah, it's a good idea that you chat with each other and you discuss, you contribute to discussion. Thank you very much. Excuse me, Picasso. I did not. If you asked a question, I did not see it. All right. So we have Yalawi's question. It is likely for him to leave the town. Is it likely? I'm sorry. Is it? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Is it likely for him to leave the town tomorrow? So here, let's talk about movements. That first, what do we have here? We have a CP. علاش CP? Because you have a sentence. What type of sentence? It's interrogative. What type of interrogative do you have here? A yes/no question. And we know that in yes/no questions, we have a famous movement called inflection to complementizer movement, or I to C movement. Okay? Good. So هي I to C movement. Do we have another movement? لا. Why? Because some of you may argue that we have a same type verb here, which is be likely, and it is likely. قلنا بلي seem, appear, be likely are raising predicates. However, in this specific example, we do not have, okay, raising. The noun phrase does not need to raise. The noun phrase him, فين هي him? Okay, him to leave. Okay, okay, it is okay. Him here does not seem to. We have two analyses. In fact, is it for him, and then you have a clause, or him can be inside. We will see. We will see. So anyway, we don't have a raising predicate here. ما عندناش raising predicate. علاش؟ حيت هذاك raising predicate واخا عندي same type verb ولكن عندي is it is likely ولا is it likely, the pleonastic pronoun. Fine. So the only movement I have here is inflection to complementizer movement. صافي. Sidi Alawi, are you here? Because tell us how many movements we have in it. You have just one, my friend. Just one movement there. Okay, so let's draw a tree diagram and we will see. Is it likely for him to leave the town tomorrow? So we have a C double bar, yeah, spec universally empty, like this. And then you have a C bar, and then you have a C0. Okay. Yes, this C0 you have is here, which has moved. We will see how this happened. And then you have an I double bar. Okay, and then you have an N double bar here, because universally the N double bar is, okay, the specifier, okay, has NP as a specifier. So you have N bar here, N0, pro, and then you have it. Okay? Then you have I bar. In some classrooms, it's it's what? It's a T bar, so they are the same. Of course, someone who talks about plus WH, Nathalie Leblanc, yes, C0 here is gifted with the plus WH, of course, here. That's why it has attracted this. So we can choose to write this plus WH feature that it has, because we have a question this time. So we have is here. Okay, so you have I double bar, I bar, and then you have I0, which is a trace. Okay, is it? Okay. All right, and then you have a V double bar. Okay, yes. So is it likely for him to leave tomorrow? Here you have, donc, is it likely for him? Okay, yes. Except that here, this sentence, you have two complements. You have likely, and then for him, is it an adjunct? Let's consider it an adjunct now. And then you have to leave tomorrow as an independent, okay, clause, as independent clause, where you have, you have a non-finite info. We will see, because the him there seems to violate case filter, but we will find a way of coping with it. Okay, so here, is it likely for him? So you have here, sorry, V double bar, you have V bar, okay, likely, no, it's, we have double negative, sorry, we have double complements here, which is not really permitted in X bar theory. You know, it does not handle this situation where you have two complements, because you will end up having three branches. But so this is one, if we consider for as a preposition. However, we can still think of here the verb. بعد نسالي هذا الverb هذه V0, which is be likely. Be likely. This be here is just an indication that we have a verbal element here, okay? Because you know, the features of tense and agreement for this verb falls on, it are carried by this auxiliary, because we have is likely. It's like when we have is doing, is eating, or was eaten, etc. So we leave this as be likely here. So always, please, when you have likely here is the verb is be likely, okay? And the features, the conjugation of be likely, like is likely, was likely, falls on the I0. That's why, so this is originates here. What we have is an I0. This has given it features. This has asked I0 to carry its features of tense and agreement. But because there is a WH question, it attracts is and it leaves there. So what we are left here with is just the verb be likely, which is, of course, unconjugated. I hope you understand this situation very well. Okay. I'm sorry, let me finish this and then I read the comments there. Be likely. Okay. Voilà. One way of analyzing this, again, let me go back to عارفكم تبين معنا لا phrase ديال سي يوسف اليعلاوي. You have, look at this, for him to leave the town tomorrow. Now, for here is not a preposition. There was a confusion a while ago. For is not a preposition. For him to leave the town. Do you remember when you studied the complementizers? We have four types of complementizers. We have that, and we have if, and we have whether, and we have for. You remember for? For introduces a non-finite clause. Is that okay? When I say, I am happy for you to leave on time. I was happy for you to finish on time. For you here is not a prepositional phrase. For is a complementizer. What type of complementizer is it? It's a complementizer that is marked, okay, by the fact that it introduces a clause which is non-finite. I repeat. We have 4 types of complementizers. Some of them are famous, like that. That is the most famous. I think that you are nice. Look at this. نستعملوا that you are nice comme ça. We understand. I think that you are nice. هذا الكومبلمنتايزر اللي هو that الفيتشرز ديالو شنو هي؟ هي plus finite minus WH because it's not a question, but plus finite. ها هي. If is it plus finite or plus non-finite? Yeah, or minus finite? It's again plus finite. I wonder if I can leave. I wonder if I can leave. So if introduces a clause which is conjugated. I wonder if I can leave. Whether, can I say, I wonder whether I can leave? Yes, I can. بالحق. I can also say, I wonder whether to leave. So whether here, sometimes it's minus finite, sometimes it's plus finite. نجيو لو كاتريام, the fourth, اللي هي for, هي هذه. It is unlikely for you. For is a complementizer. حيث for can exist as a preposition. And I myself, I was confused at the beginning, I told you, I talked about the verb and it cannot take two complements. No. It was just a short-term confusion, but you see, for here is a complementizer. For is a complementizer. And this complementizer introduces a non-finite clause. For ما عمر ما كتجي معها un verbe conjugué. ما كيجيش معها un verbe conjugué. دائما une phrase اللي فيها for as a complementizer. For example, I was happy for you to have your driver's license. شتي? I was happy وهاد for you to have the driver's license هذا c'est une CP اللي هي الكومبليمون ديال happy. Here for him, what's that? For him to leave the town tomorrow, is a CP here that serves as the complement of this. Likely. حيث ما يمكنش I am likely خصها to شي حاجة. Do you understand? So here, of course, we do not have any movement because عندي it هنايا the pleonastic pronoun كيخلي هذه تكون في بلاصتها. Okay? Likely. Okay. Can we just carry on? Okay. So you have a C double bar here. Spec empty. C bar. C0. Plus or minus finite? Minus finite. اللي هي 4. Okay. And then what do we have here? And the I double bar. And I have here him. Okay. So I can continue here, my friends. Excuse me. 4. And then I have N double bar here, N bar, N0. Him. This is, of course, an accusative case because this case is assigned by for, this type of complementizer, sorry. Okay. And this is anyway, this is an infinite info. So here, so N bar for him. Comment je fais? Donc, il y a I bar. I0 and then you have to, for him to, like this. Is that fine? Are you following me? And then بقت لنا to leave the town tomorrow. To, and then leave the town tomorrow. It's a normal verb phrase where you have leave, and then you have tomorrow. It's an adjunct, it's an adverb. So you create a copy of the V bar, and then you have a complement, leave the town. So I think you can handle this part. What is hell is this part here. This is difficult. I would agree. Okay, but this is the solution for it. Now, him, does it violate case filter? No, because this is non-finite, so it cannot assign any case. But this him, okay, comes from the existence of it. The I0 here, which is plus tense plus agreement, which itself has undergone movement. Okay, the case is controlled by this in a sense, and because we have added it, we cannot ask this him here to move. I hope the situation is clear for you. The key word here in this type of sentence is that when you have for X to do something, whenever you have this for X to do something, understand that that's a CP. I was happy for you to leave the exam on time. For you to leave the exam on time is a CP, but the C0 is specified as minus finite, and therefore the verb is conjugated in the infinitive. Yusuf Li'alawi, does this make sense? And excuse a mistake I made when I thought of the prepositional phrase, and I said that's not true, by the way. So I'm going back on it. Okay, the correct analysis is this one here. Okay, so it's not a story of it's not for him. It's not a story of a prepositional phrase at all, because for is a complementizer. And not about complementizers that if, whether, and for. وهاد for هذه, it always introduces a sentence where the verb is not conjugated. I'm sorry, a clause where the verb is not conjugated. Okay. Li'alawi, I need your reaction, please. Does this satisfy your curiosity? Okay. Nuhaila El Haysan, dear professor, is it possible by any means to give syntax lecture to S1 master students in Babrouah? No, there is a colleague who was my professor and who knows a lot better, or far better than I do. He's a real specialist in syntax, so it's. But if there is a need for that, maybe if we need another one, I can come and give it a try if I am assigned the course. Thank you, Nuhaila, for this trust in your professor. Mohammed, likely, is it an adjective? La. Likely, it has a peculiarity, because likely is not. It's not is likely that is at stake. It's not likely itself, but it is likely. So we have the verb called be likely. Okay, look, that's why I wrote it here as be likely. اوكي علاش بي هنايا ماشي از؟ حيت از كانت هنايا، حيت هنا عندي plus tense plus agreement, and this has given it that feature because there is a pressing need to move. What moves are only lexical items. features بوحدهم ما كيموفيوش، features بوحدهم ما كيسافروش، خصنا فاش نهزوهم. دونك هنايا بحال هاد is تكريات هنا making because we have be here, so the closest auxiliary is. That's why it has carried out its features and left. Okay, nice. Okay, Bukrifi for him might serve as a complement of the adjective likely. That's true, but look, what is the complement is not just for him; it's for him to do something, and the whole thing is a complementizer phrase. All right. Yes. Okay. 4 marks. 4 marks the verb of the infinitive clause. That's true. When the subject is missing, the verb 4 marks the verb of the infinitive clause. No, but 4 is a complementizer. 4 is not a verb. It's just, it marks it in the sense that it decides on the nature of the verb. I would agree with you. Nathalie Leblanc. Picasso, Prof, after you finish answering the questions, can we please move to the exams? Okay, I thought I forgot the exams, my friend. Selma Al-Qasimi, Prof, we have a violation of case filter in the non-finite clause here. On the face of it, it's a violation, but this already has some sort of accusative case, which means that it's not caseless here. It's not caseless. هذه ماشي caseless. It's him here only because we have the pleonastic pronoun here. لو كان ما عنديش pleonastic pronoun here غتكون that he is هذه غتولي he. Okay, so this can be due to the fact that we have this 4 here can assign some accusative case to this, but certainly this is not caseless. علاش؟ لأن هذه من the case that this has does not come from this. Probably comes from it's accusative. It's the verb that gives it, this accusative, because it's like an object here. So it's properly case assigned. A little bit weird, I would agree with you, but certainly this is not from this. هذه راه ميته ما كتعطيش الكيس باش نقولوا خصها تعطي لها النومينيتيف كيس. لو كانت هذه اكتيفي يعني فيها بلاس تنس بلاس اجريمنت سيتادير لو كانت هذه كونجوغي هذه غتكون لي هي without any problems. علاش؟ لان غتكون تعطيها النومينيتيف كيس، ولكن الكيس ديال هذه ما جاياش من هنايا، جايه من بي لايكلي وجايه حتى من سميتو الاثار ديال ايتيز هذاك البريوناسيك برونون. اوكي سيدي علاوي. اوكي everyone. To be frank, si Buknifi says, so Anna Kuratu says, hi professor, where can we find the lesson explained exactly like you explained it? In the book. You have the red book and it has all sorts of activities, all sorts of explanations. Okay, I mean like a book. Yeah, كاين ديك Radford, the best book. واخا شويه old, but it's the best book that explains in a very neat way, in a very nice way. Okay, Selma Qasimi says thank you everyone. Do you think we should move to the exercises? Yes, okay, let's move to the exercises. Which exercise would you like to start with? Yeah, let me impose on you. So write a short paragraph where you have competence versus performance and one major goal of linguistics. The first one. Asma Oben Nasr. Yes, please. Okay, Huda. Yeah. So let's start with this. Okay. So let me check. So you have write a short paragraph, 10 to 12 lines. اسمعوا my friends. اسمعوا شنو كنقول لكم. Write a short paragraph and then you have 10 to 12 lines. It means what? It means if you have a lot to say and that you can say that in 1.5 pages, you are not writing a paragraph. Try to find a way of cramming the information in one paragraph, but in a neat paragraph with its topic sentence. So this is what I can say about this question, about the format. Of course, here you're going to compare, if you choose, for example, topic 1, competence versus performance. You see? So here is the best way of starting this. Your professor is asking you to compare and contrast, draw a distinction, a comparison, between competence and performance. You cannot start directly. Why? Why not? Because the professor asks you to write a paragraph. For a paragraph to be a paragraph, it needs to have a topic sentence. What is an ideal topic sentence here? An ideal topic sentence is one that for this specific example. أنا أعطيكم واحد المثال مثلا. ممكن نقولوا competence and performance differ in fundamental respects. Full stop. There are many differences between competence and between the two concepts of competence and performance. One can argue for competence to be different for, you have different ways of saying that, but you do need a topic sentence like this one here. And then if you have maybe 2 or 3 arguments, I'd rather have 2 arguments well developed in a paragraph with illustrations. You remember, a paragraph without illustrations is not a good paragraph. In linguistics, paragraphs have to be illustrated. If you have a follow-up to this point, let me know, please. Okay? So, competence, performance, I think you know the difference. So let's just move on. And and I will move on. Stop me because just to waste, not to waste more time. We have not wasted it anyway. We have used it. So if there are things that you would like me to stop at, ask me. You have the keyboard and you have the space there, and ask me, okay? So one major goal of linguistics. What does one major goal of what? Of linguistics? Yes. What is the major goal of linguistics? Tell me. Anyway, I think you are passive. Again, you are asked to similarly, Ayuksi, similarly, hello, welcome. You see, the professor is asking you, or the one who asked this question, in this exercise, we are asked to write a paragraph on one goal of linguistics. But this goal of linguistics needs to be mentioned, needs to be elaborated, needs to be illustrated. What is the goal of linguistics? We have many goals. Okay? We have many goals. For example, to understand the core of human language, to explain linguistic competence, to provide a formal description of the rules, of the linguistic rules, to describe variation. So they have different, the linguistics has different goals. Analyzing language structure, to understand the nature. Look at this, look at Hiba, yes, very good. To construct a grammar, yes, all these are good answers. These are different goals. To understand the nature of language in general, for example, what distinguishes human language, yeah, that's very good, that's true, that's true. All these are goals of linguistics. As you can see, sometimes the question is not about how much you know. One goal. Take one of these and elaborate it and provide an example and a concluding sentence, topic sentence, stuff. Is that okay? That's all. If you need further details here, we can proceed. Is that fine? So to study the framework and parameters of a language, the framework, maybe the principles and parameters of a language, yes, but it's to model linguistic competence, to model the human mind, because the language is seen as a mirror of mind, especially in generative linguistics. It's to model the native speakers, linguistic competence. It's one of the goals. To provide a theory of language acquisition, theory of language, of linguistic theory. It's to provide an adequate description of the essence of human language, and so on and so forth. You have multiple goals. Write just one, So you need to have this, when it comes to answering questions in the form of a paragraph, you need to worry about the content as much as you need to worry about the form. Yes. Oh, this is really interesting. Look at Hiba's suggestion. One major goal of linguistics is to understand how humans create, use, and interpret language to communicate. Yes. And acquire, how linguistics use and acquire, okay, language, their mother tongue. So whatever. So you have these elements for the answer. Choose one or two, and and try to provide examples, concrete examples. When you're talking about linguistic competence, for example, you would say that to model linguistic competence, you need to say that, of course, linguistic competence is not straightforward, is not directly accessible. We access it through performance. I think the two questions are so related. Okay, nice. So you can do one of these, and then you provide, that's more of composition than anything else. Okay. Now, present. Now we are in question 2, ladies and gentlemen. Question 2, please. Question 2. Go to question 2. To describe human languages, that's true. To provide a detailed and adequate, a principled, to provide a principled account of human languages. Asma is Sadiq, thank you. Okay, now let's move on to question number 2. Present 3 syntactic arguments or constituency tests to confirm that the adjective phrase in the following sentence is a full syntactic constituent. Give examples. So here you have Mary is very proud of her parents. So here you have proud of her parents, proud of her parents. What are some of the arguments that we can use to show that proud of her parents is a constituent as an adjective phrase? Because that's what the question is asking us to do, is a full syntactic constituent. How can we argue for an adjective like proud of her proud of her parents? So we have proud of her parents, and we know that it's an adjective phrase. Okay. Now, how can we provide arguments to support the fact that this is a constituent? Yallah. One argument is that, okay, proud of her parents is an adjective phrase because it can be substituted with other adjective phrases that are not necessarily like proud of herself. For example, Mary is nice. Mary is very nice. Mary is proud of herself. Okay? That's one argument. I mean, the substitution. You take that part, and by the way, you don't use it just for adjective phrases. These arguments can apply to other, operations, to other. Yeah, Mary is proud of her parents, proud of them. Here, it's not a substitution here. Hiba Hinawi, maybe of her parents. Her parents is what? Her parents is an NP. So maybe this is an argument, this type of substitution that Hiba has provided us with is an argument for the existence of a noun phrase. But the question is asking us to provide an argument for the adjective phrase. So you can say substitution. Yes, I agree. Substitution is a good argument. We can substitute proud of her parents with other famous, more straightforward adjective phrases like very nice. Mary is very nice. Mary is proud of her parents. Mary is a tall and hardworking, and I don't know, lady. All these, no, for lady, no, because lady we will have a noun phrase. She is very nice. She is very intelligent. She is so nice. She is just nice. Okay. Yes. We will see. Okay. So that's one argument in favor of her. Another interesting argument, very straightforward this time and very clear, is to answer in a conversation, for example. In a conversation, for example, in a casual conversation, what was the main highlight or the main characteristic of Mary yesterday? What did she look like? An answer, a short answer can be just proud of her parents. What was she like? Proud of her parents. So the fact that we can answer just by saying proud of her parents and not just of her parents, بوحدة, of her parents, it's not a constituent. What is a constituent is proud of her parents. So the fact that we can provide a short answer by saying proud of her parents and not just proud, you see, or just of her parents, this proves that proud of her parents is a constituent that can, when you delete it, you delete all of it. When you replace it, you replace all of it. You see, and you coordinate it. As someone talked about that, coordination is another key argument for the fact that proud of her parents is an adjective phrase. Mary is proud of her parents, is very intelligent and very proud of her parents, and proud of her parents. Mary is nice and proud of her parents. The fact that we have nice as an adjective phrase, which happens to be an adjective here, an adjective phrase. So Mary is what? Is both nice and proud of her parents. The fact that we can conjoin the two, we can conjoin proud of her parents with another adjective phrase, it means that this is a phrase in itself. Yes, she is proud of her parents and happy maybe to see them. Yes, she is proud of her parents and happy with her achievement. حسن أسي المهداوي. You see? Look, coordination. Look at this sentence. This makes more sense. Mary is proud of her parents and happy with her achievements. شتي? Happy with her achievements. هنا غادي تكون coordination as a successful way of arguing for, you see, the existence of proud of herself as a constituent. Look at this. Stylistically, we can choose to move proud of herself to front it. This is called the fronting argument or the preposing or whatever. Moving proud of herself, to the beginning, for example, and proud of herself, of her parents, and proud of herself she was. Mary achieved a lot, and proud of her parents she was. Proud of her parents she was. You see, Mary is or Mary was. It's not, for example, proud she was of her parents. Proud she was of her parents. No. Okay, so proud of her parents she was. We have a feeling that when you say proud of her parents, it feels more acceptable than proud she was of her parents. Though some people would accept this too. But it's usually in the context of how proud of her parents she was, but that's another analysis. Anyway, preposing can be a good argument to testify to the existence, to the adjective phrase status of this, of this element. Let's move on, please. I'm afraid we are, it's almost, 2 hours. Okay. Why didn't you include very in the constituent? No, euphoria. I'm sorry. Because I don't remember all the components. Very can be included without any problem. So where euphoria, where I did not include very, you try to include it because this is not going to change anything. ما غاديش تبدل حتى شي حاجة. She is very proud of her parents. نعاودو. She is very proud of her parents and extremely intelligent. She is extremely intelligent and very proud of her parents. Very proud of her parents she was. You see? What did Mary look like yesterday? Very proud of her parents. شتي هادو كاع هادشي اللي قلنا لي زارغيومون راه هذيك فيري ما كتبين it doesn't change anything. So yes, I just forgot it because I don't remember all the sentences because I'm not looking at it now. Euphoria, that's the reason why I have to answer that you understood. Okay, answer me that it's fine. Okay, this very honest writer of short stories with short hair. All right. Euphoria, I am still waiting for your response, please. Because you ask a question and you will think that there is something that was done on purpose. No, it's just that. So there is nothing. There is no rule. There is nothing. It was not excluded on purpose. It's just that I did not learn the sentence verbatim, but you can understand that from context. Anyway, the explanation